Do you want to know how you can have a better relationship with your patient, spread information to your community, and have an impact on practice morale and workload? Well, that can be using Facebook Live, and in this episode I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Let's tech enhance your primary care and learning. If this is the first time I'm meeting, I'm Dr. Gandalf of EGP Learning, where I'm supporting you with technology-enhanced primary care and learning. And in this episode, I talked to Simon Elcock of Library House Surgery, who's been using Facebook Live for the past few months and has seen real benefits in the practice, both with the community, with patients, and even with workload and practice morale. Sounds like a winner, doesn't it? We're going to talk about how you can do that in your practice as well, what you need to get started, the implications of doing so, and how you can make it easier for everyone around. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to contact me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, please leave us a review on iTunes. Would love it if you could do that. And as always, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to get all of our episodes first and foremost. And as always, EGP Learning is here to help save you and your patients time by tech enhancing your primary care and learning. Shall we begin? Hey EGP learners, so I'm joined by Simon Elcock. Are you there, Simon?
Hi there.
So do you mind introducing yourself for everybody, if that's okay, Simon?
Yeah, that's fine. My name's Simon Alcock. I work at a large GP practice in Chorley, Lancashire, and I've been working with Healthy Lancashire and South Cumbria on a project called the Digital Pioneer Project, and I've been working with Facebook Live.
And so for IGP learners, we're going to talk about how you can use live streaming, and particularly things like Facebook Live and stuff, to have better engagement with your patients, and potentially how this can impact your practice as well. And I know you've been doing some really amazing work with this, Simon. So can you tell us how you got started on this whole kind of journey? That's okay.
Yeah, I went to in Lancashire, South Cumbria. There's a meeting organised for what they call digital exemplars, and I guess it was kind of to get some people together to see if we could kind of turbocharge bringing digital into the way we work. And when I was at that meeting, there was a guy there. He was called John Popham, and he was a digital storyteller, and he had a series of tripods set up with mobile phones on. And John recorded the meeting, and the meeting was put on to YouTube. I don't know, it just kind of felt like, what a brilliant thing to do. It was great for me as well, because afterwards, after the meeting, I was able to go on YouTube and just kind of recap on some of the discussions we had there. So I had a meeting with one of the organisations involved with the digital exemplar programme. I had basically like a shopping list, really, of things we wanted to do, and there's stuff on there, sort of digital photography for dermatology, about maybe digitising our Lloyd George notes. And on my list there, I basically said, the guy you had at that meeting who did the recording, he come to our next patient participation group meeting and help us live stream the meeting. So a couple of months passed. John came down with all his kits. We invited some of our patients to the meeting. So at the meeting, we had 15 physical patients. But it was a bit mind-blowing, really, because while the meeting was on, there was another 58 patients watching the meeting and commenting on the meeting. And within a couple of days after the meeting, it had been watched by about 2,000 people. Wow. So really, yeah, that's where it all started. And then I thought, you know what, I want to do this. And I started doing a lot of research into Facebook Live. And I found a function in Facebook Live called cross-posting. And what cross-posting means is when you go live on your Facebook page, you can also, with the consent of other Facebook pages, simultaneously go live on their pages. And I thought, wow, this is a really powerful thing. So I put a proposal into the Health Lancashire and South Cumbria Digital Pioneer Scheme. And my proposal was basically consisted of two parts, really. Debunk some of the myths around Facebook Live and try and create a toolkit that would make it accessible for everyone. And the other thing I wanted to do was show how an ICS could potentially use Facebook Live to communicate down their hierarchy. So from the ICS down to clinical commissioning groups, from the clinical commissioning groups to primary care networks, and from the primary care networks down to GP practices, and deliver like a regional message, but at a very localized level via practice's Facebook page. So I've been working on that for the last year, and along the way we've done, I think, about 4 Facebook live streams now, and I guess like anything you do right at the start, there's a learning process, and you fine tune things and you spot where maybe some of the problems are, and that's culminated in our most recent Facebook Live event, which was it was in coordination with Joe's Trust Cervical Cancer Week, and we live streamed a Q&A, an expert panel about cervical cytology, and we've got a great response to that. I think that it's been watched now about 5,500 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and that keeps going up, and we're also using that Facebook live stream now as a resource to point patients to, because within that resource are all the common questions that people may ask.
Mm-hmm.
And on that panel, it was great. We had a lady who just turned 25 and had her first screening, and she talked about her experience. And we had someone who had cervical cancer picked up in a routine screening, and I think the message from there was really powerful. And yeah, so we're already looking at our next one, which is going to be breast screening, and who knows what's next after that.
Wow, that's an amazing journey. I guess one of the things I often get asked about with the whole kind of social media and using it with patients and things is, are you not scared, basically? You know, what if somebody says something that they shouldn't do? You know, what if patients start giving out personal information? You know, that the whole kind of being on the soapbox kind of prospects. How have you tackled that apprehension and those risks as well?
I think you have to be aware of the risks, and we have been. And when we first started, we had moderation for our very first one. We had moderation on our Facebook page, but we just thought this is kind of defeating the purpose, really. So I guess we weighed up the risks and weighed up the advantages, and we know, and we hope our patients know, but maybe we need to kind of reiterate the fact that our Facebook page is in the public domain, and what they say on there is out there for everyone to see. When we did the cross posting, we had any Facebook page involved. We had people reviewing the comments that patients were making live.
Mm-hmm.
A few reasons, really. For the first one you mentioned, someone may have a rant or start naming names, and we could delete that comment. But also, what we've been trying to do is when people are asking questions via the comment section in the live stream, we've gone to great effort to make sure where we can, we'll ask that question during the live stream. So, and that's really important, because we don't want it to be a video that's live. We want it to be a live thing that people can interact with and engage with. So I think probably as we go on, we'll just at the beginning of all our Facebook live streams just reiterate the fact that what people say or ask is out there in the public domain, and just make sure they're comfortable with that, really.
Okay. And I guess in terms of the different kinds of setup, I mean, there's various different ways you can set this up, isn't there? I mean, you can go from simple as just using a mobile phone to start off with, to crazy complicated things. I guess if you've got practice out there that's thinking about this, what would be your advice in terms of just getting started, really?
Getting started. So I've looked at kind of 3 models, really, and the quality of your live stream will increase as you move up these 3 models. But my recommendation would be is someone knocking around in your loft or wherever, you'll have a tripod from when we used to have cameras rather than mobile phones.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a mobile phone mount, which could be, you'd pick up for about, I don't know, a tenner from Amazon.
Yeah.
And basically log your mobile phone into your Facebook page and literally click live, and that'd be great. That's a great way to get started. And what you could do is, while you're doing that, maybe have one of your colleagues on their computer just monitoring the comments that are coming through. Next step, I would say, would be there's a restriction within Facebook Live at the resolution, which is basically the quality you transmit your Facebook Live to that the Facebook servers will accept. And so there's no real point going beyond that quality. And we found we've got great results from just a webcam, a HD webcam, which is a Logitech, I think it's C90.
C920, definitely our EGP learners will know that I bang on about this as a webcam, because it's just, it's what I use and what I think is really effective for a variety of things, whether it's consultations, so video consultations, online meetings, and definitely live streaming. So all of our videos are actually live streamed with that exact camera.
So you can pick one of those up for, I think they're down to just over £50 on Amazon. Yeah. The great thing is you don't just need to use it for Facebook live stream. You can use it if you're involved in video consultations or say you have Zoom meetings. So it doesn't just need to sit there in a drawer and you pull it out every time you ever do a live stream. It can be used in practice. You're not going to get a better quality picture than that. So why think, well, I need to spend £500 on a SLR mirrorless camera? You don't need to. So the next step on that progression to work, how you improve the quality of your live streams, I would say, is get that video, get that webcam, plug it into USB socket on your laptop, open up your Facebook Live page on your laptop, click Go Live, and what Facebook will do, it will give you a preview from your webcam. So it will say, what video device do you want to use? So you just say, I want to use my webcam. And it'll say, what audio device do you want to use? And you just say, I want to use the microphone within my webcam. So this is ideal for, say, maybe you've got 3 or 4 people around the table and quite close. And you, rather than having the webcam point to yourself, point it to the people talking. And you'll get great results from that, really good high quality. One of the restrictions of that really is then, and something that's really important about when you're live streaming, is really sound quality. So if you put in a bigger event, say you've arranged an event where you've got, say 20 patients sat in a meeting room, you've got someone presenting at the front, you can still use the webcam, so that will go with you along your Facebook Live journey. You won't need to buy another one. But then you start looking really at different types of microphones. So to give you an example, the last 2 Facebook live streams we've done where we've had really good results, the microphone we bought from that is called a boundary microphone, so it picks up sound from a number of different directions. We paid about £51 for that. We also spent about another £40 for a mixing desk that we can plug that microphone into, and then we plug the mixing desk via, I guess it's like the headphone socket into your laptop. And so if you want to go down that route, I guess what I'm saying is the most money you need to spend is under £200 to get really good quality Facebook live streams, but you can start at nothing, move up to about £50. And the good thing is, as you progress, the stuff you've bought along the way will come with you and you'll use it.
Definitely agree with that. And I guess the key thing that I'm hearing from that, as well as one of the things I advocate to many people, is simply just start, really. That's the key thing. So I guess one of the questions that many people always ask is, why should I bother? What benefit is this going to give us? So you've been doing this for a short while now. What benefit is it giving you?
Yes, certainly. Well, just going back to the very first meeting we had 15 patients at that meeting. We invited over 250 people, so 15 patients to go.
Sounds about right.
The reason we didn't invite everyone because we were worried like about 5,000 may turn up. So, but those people at the meeting as well were the same people who were at the previous meeting the year before when we didn't use Facebook live stream. But as we were going through the meeting, and we were monitoring our Facebook page, but we could see 58 people were watching live. So the way I like to kind of picture that is we had 15 people in our waiting room and we had the Mentor staff doing the event. Our waiting room holds 41 people. So it would be like holding a meeting where it gets to the point where there's standing room only. And I tried to visualize that really. And I think potentially we're just reaching people who are very busy. I think, Not everyone wants to take time out on a Wednesday evening to come to the surgery to watch an hour's meeting. But what they will do is they'll prop up their phone in the kitchen, on a work surface, and maybe be cooking tea and kind of grazing on what you're talking about. But I guess the way I look at that is I'd rather have someone grazing and engaging as best as they can than maybe not engaging at all. And just something else really is, one of the things we didn't expect was the kind of buzz it created amongst the team, really, that, leading up to the Facebook Live event and afterwards, it was just really noticeable how everyone was kind of invigorated and motivated the next day, and staff were watching the Facebook live stream at home who wouldn't necessarily been at the meeting. So as far as communicating what happened at the meeting, a lot of people came in and already knew what had happened, and they also knew the action points we'd agreed. So as a team, we already knew what we needed to achieve after that meeting, to try and meet some of the requests of the patients there.
Wow. So it sounds like trying to engage better with the community has not only led to better information service for patients, and hopefully that can lead to better outcomes for the more challenging to reach patient group subgroups in terms of what we deal with. But it also sounds like from a practice perspective, it's really served as a morale booster, really, and made the team more enthusiastic and engaged, and that's sometimes challenging to do when everyone gets so bogged down with the day job. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the most recent event we did, the cytology event, we actually, because we were cross-posting that to a number of different practices, we actually set up a phone line. So during the live stream, we were saying, call this number now if you want to book a cervical smear. So I just went out to the team and said, look, we're doing this event on Wednesday. It's about trying to increase cytology uptake. I need 3 people, who would be happy to man the phones. Instantly I had people offering to do it. I think, part of it was that they felt as an organisation we're doing this, and it's a really good thing to do, the Facebook live stream, about something that hopefully will improve outcomes for patients.
Okay. And I guess any tips for practices that are thinking about doing this?
Yes. I think be brave. I think, I think the first time you do it, you're probably going to be a bit worried, but there's really nothing to worry about. I would say, you can test your live stream before you actually go live. So that gives you a bit of confidence in your kit and making sure everything's all right. Speak to other people who've done it. I'm happy for people, if they're doing a Facebook live stream, to contact me and provide reassurance, or maybe say, well, I found when we did this made it a bit easier. And have a look at the toolkit I've created, because hopefully my aim with the toolkit was to create a set of instructions that would hopefully help you to confidently live stream, and I've kind of approached it in a way that you start at the very beginning. There's video tutorials on there. There's all sorts on there, really. And what I'd really like if people use the toolkit and they do a Facebook live stream, to kind of share their experience. And what I'm hoping to do is build up, there's a blog on the toolkit. I'd like to build up the stories from different practices as well about how they're using it.
And for our EGP learners that are watching this episode, or if you're on the podcast or whatever, if you look in the show notes, I'll put the link to that toolkit in the show notes. And if you're watching us right now, you should be seeing it ping up on the screen right now. So I guess one thing I wanted to ask about was the impact that you're having, because when people practices in particular use social media, they can see obviously different audiences and different categories and stuff. And before you answer that question, I guess one thing I wanted to show everybody, so through the power of screen share and stuff, I'm just going to bring up my screen and show effectively the difference you can have. So this is the Library House Surgery Facebook page, which obviously you work and coordinate and things. And I guess one thing I want to show people is this number here in the right hand side. So at the moment, when we film this, you've got 901 likes and 968 people following your page. That's what percentage of your practice population would you say that would be?
That is 1/16 of our practice population.
Okay. So So that's quite sizable, if I'm being honest. Having a communication mechanism that can engage with that level of your population. And for comparison, so I'm going to show everybody mine. So this is my practice Facebook page. And in terms of followers, it's slightly different because I'm logged in as me, 97. And that's with doing all the kind of work I do in terms of trying to advocate the page and stuff over the past 9 months or so. And the difference is live streaming, if I'm being honest. That's one of the key differences, because one of the things we know is that the social media platforms, their algorithms are much better when you use live video streaming and that kind of stuff, because they push it more. That's how the algorithm's designed. But it clearly shows that you're getting amazing engagement. I mean, if you look at some of these posts, I mean, you can see multiple comments. So if we go down to the live stream, there we are. So this is, I think, a recent one you've done. Like you said, 5.6 thousand views, 43 shares. That's amazing, if I'm being honest. And obviously a few comments and stuff. I mean, is this what you're seeing on a regular basis?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I guess the high figure there for the views is partially down to cross-posting. So that just shows the power of simultaneously broadcasting. So if you're in a primary care network and you wanted to put on an event, you could cross-post to your individual practices. And that way you're casting your net further and you're helping more patients to engage. But generally, I mean, we did a post before that to kind of promote the event. And that reached...
this one?
Yeah, that reached, what are we on there, 2.6 views?
Yeah, 2.8, yeah.
2.8. I'd say we're definitely seeing, in excess of 1,000 to 2,000 views when we do a live stream. So I guess, I don't know, a ratio which would be for each follower, you potentially get 2 views.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things to remember is the impact that this will have, because this is also the patients getting involved. This is the patients sharing it, and it's that information spread that happens that hopefully means that they can have access to better information, definitely, and hopefully better navigation through the healthcare process. I guess one cool thing about this is you've now got a repository of information that you can share with patients for future use as well, haven't you?
Yes, and we've taken that. We've actually, I mean, we didn't expect this, but the live streams create a legacy, really. They create, so, for example, the live stream around cytology, we're already using that legacy. So what we've done is we've downloaded it from Facebook and then uploaded it to YouTube. So potentially reaching an audience that don't have Facebook accounts, and then we're using text messages. So our reminder text messages for our cervical smears, we're putting, please don't forget your cervical smear appointment on whatever the date is. If you're unsure about attending your appointment, then this video may answer some of the questions you may have.
Wow.
So we're directing patients to that. We're also using a similar message, but for our cytology non-responders. So along the lines of, we've noticed you haven't booked an appointment. If you're unsure about booking an appointment, please take a quick look at this video and see, if it may help you decide whether to book an appointment. So I guess as we create more live streams on different subjects, so the one we're going to look at next is the breast screening. That, again, will become another resource we can use.
And have you seen an increase in uptake in cytology and smears and stuff?
It's one thing, part of the evaluation I'm doing, really, to see if the cervical screening Facebook live stream we did has increased uptake. And one thing I'm struggling with is to see when appointments were booked. But one thing I can see is I can't find when appointments have been booked, but I can see which appointments are booked. So I've looked at the figures from the launch of our cytology Facebook stream event through to now, really, and there's probably about a 20% difference in uptake when compared to the same period last year.
Wow.
Obviously, we'll need more. We'll need to gather more data, maybe into February, and at the end of February, we can. We'll be in a better position to say, well, it looks like it has increased uptake, or certainly the work we've done around cervical cytology, including the Facebook Live event, has increased uptake.
And I guess, as you mentioned, this is something that's not just effective to use as a practice. This could easily be done, for example, by a network trying to do this kind of work, and then share that with its practices within its network that can basically help them do the work and tackle some of those more population-based challenges that we see across a larger footprint.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if anything, it kind of fits right into the idea of the primary care network. It lends itself very well to that economy of scale. Why are each individual practice doing their own event about something? Why not just do it once and simultaneously spread it at the same time?
And potentially it means you've got the resource of the clinicians within the network to use as that information delivery side of things as well.
Yeah, we certainly have, yeah. For example, the breast screen event, we've already got one of the GPs who might be interested in doing that with us. So I guess really now it's not about the technology anymore. A lot of where I've got up to now is testing, double testing, triple testing. Does this work with that? How do we get the best sound? How do we get the best picture? We're now in a really good position where it's about, right, what's going to make a difference? What should we look at that will make a difference? If we do this. And really, I guess that's what technology should be, really. It shouldn't be about, I need to do this or that. It should just work, and you should be able to get on and harness the power of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so where do you see this going in the future?
What I'd like to do, really, I think now at Library House Surgery, we're not asking the question, should we live stream it? The question is, do we not live stream it? I'd like to see other practices picking up, having a look maybe at the toolkit or having a go at Facebook Live and giving it a go, really, and create it. A lot of us now have Facebook pages. We have different ways of communicating, and just seeing it as another way to communicate, and through the different channels of communication, we hopefully get our message out to the most people. So I see it as another channel. It's a good way to be open with your patients. I think it's a really good way to build trust. It's like, because it's live, I think you're saying, this is us, we're live, we're going to talk about this. We feel confident to do so, and we hope you'll watch and comment and get involved.
Cool. Well, thank you, Simon. For me, that's been really helpful, and I hope for our EGP learners as well, they found this really useful, because it's an area that isn't really covered in, the vastness of the internet and that kind of thing. You mentioned that obviously if people wanted to contact you, we can put the details of the practice in yourself. Is that okay in the show notes and stuff? Would that be all right?
That's absolutely fine. If you do access the toolkit, there's a contact us section on there, which it isn't really us, it's just me. But so if you just fill out that form, put the details in, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. And again, as ever to our EGP learners, we hope you found this content useful. If you have done so, please make sure you leave a comment, either in the show notes or leave a review if you listen to this on the podcast and stuff. Love it if you could subscribe and make sure you get all this content first and foremost. And as always, here at EGP Learning, we're here to help save you and your patients time with primary care and learning. Catch you in the next episode.